NTA International News.
Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo sets up task force to beat down food prices. Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative updates website, moves to check shop practices. African First Ladies take stock of organization's core mandate as 28th Summit of African Union ends in Addis Ababa. Plus, residents savour successes of the military against Boko Haram in the northeast. Hello there, it's good to have you join us on the news on NTA International. I am Shego Lawale. Moved by the need to enhance affordability of food prices across the country, the Buhari administration has constituted a presidential task force to urgently consider measures that will ensure a steady flow of produce to the market and reverse the recent price increases. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo gave the directive today at the Federal Executive Council meeting, expressing concern at some of the inflationary rates of food prices. He noted that the task force will explore options to promote availability and affordability of food items to Nigerians. He said the task force, which has 7 days from now to report back to the council, will consider how to remove some of the cost-raising factors that come into play between the farms and the markets and therefore bring relief to the people. While there have been reports of bumper harvests in parts of the country, prices of foodstuffs still end up rather high, while some of the produce end up wasted due to a number of reasons preventing effective transportation delivery to the markets. Members of the task force include Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Ogbe, Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Oke Enelama, Minister of Transportation, Honorable Rotimi Amechi, Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, and Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige. The offices of the Chief of Staff to the President and the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals will also be on the task force. In the meantime, the federal government has commended distribution of farm inputs for effective implementation of Growth Enhancement Scheme GES. The program was flagged off in Kano State, targeting 500,000 farmers for the 2016-2017 dry season farming. Musaba Baliu reports.
The Growth Enhancement Scheme, known as GES, is an initiative of the federal government designed to produce and supply inputs to farmers at 50% subsidy. The objective of the scheme is to reduce corruption in farming input supply, as well as boost national food production and create wealth among farmers. Under the program, farmers are linked to input suppliers where they pay 50% of the required inputs. The federal and participating states jointly pay 50%. The program was, however, suspended in 2014 as the last administration was unable to pay over 60 billion naira to input suppliers.
Because there is no any program in the country that has ever brought quality inputs to the farmer to the doorstep. Lack of payment is trying to kill the program.
The present administration redesigned the program for effectiveness and efficiency and promised to settle the outstanding debt.
And the president has directed that we liaise to the Minister of Finance to look for money to pay. And the Minister of Finance has assured me that she's going to look for money and pay this debt. Free fertilizer will not take us anywhere. A farmer must have his own arithmetic. A farmer must know how much he is spending in order to produce what and what is his profit.
Under the new system, only the federal government will register and compile the list of farmers that will benefit from the GES initiative. From Chiromawa in Kano State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The ability of the current administration's drive to revitalize the railway transportation in the country has again been emphasized with the dogged commitment of the Buhari administration to rehabilitate the system as a major drive in the country's economy. This came up during the 2017 budget defense organized by the Senate Committee on Land Transportation. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayano reports.
The veritable strategic plan of government to bring back railway system to its past glory presupposes the need for the $30 billion as stipulated by the minister during the committee sitting. Chief Rotimi Amechi appealed to the lawmakers for approval of the borrowing plan, without which he said the final signing by the Chinese government could not be concluded. Under the agreement, federal government will take $25.8 billion, while strategic states with planned intercity railway infrastructure will share $4.1 billion of the $30 billion loan.
The budget of Man's Girl has included the completion of the main line and ancillary facilities with electric power supply, freight yards in the Do and the Gasa, locomotive workshop, rolling stock depot, and provision of operation facilities for the Abuja, the Do, Kaduna, the Gasa rail line.
Chairman Senate Committee on Land Transport Benga Ashafa said the committee was curious on why the Calabar to Lagos and Lagos to Kano railway modernization project were still pending.
The thrust of the 2016 budget is recovery and growth. Therefore, we must work together to ensure that we consolidate on the achievements and the performances already recorded in the past year.
In a related development, Chairman Senate Committee on Basic and Secondary Education, Senator Aliu Magataka Dawamako, has called for greater cooperation between and among educational institutions in Nigeria. Senator Wamako emphasized this at the 2017 budget defense for agencies under the purview of his committee.
We are here to work with you to see how best we can address the challenges we met last year or previous years, so that together we can make a difference.
In the meantime, budget defense by MDAs continues. From the National Assembly, Waziri Zayano, NTA News.
The Public Accounts Committees of both the Senate and the House of Representatives have frowned at the failure of more than 300 federal government parastatals to submit their audited accounts to the Auditor General of the Federation. To this end, the committees have recommended to both chambers to withhold their 2017 budgetary allocation. However, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, along other 20 parastatals, have been commended for being up to date with their audited accounts. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwa reports.
Audit is a very crucial stage in budgeting. The importance of this process towards ensuring transparency and accountability in the implementation of annual budget is aptly captured in the provision of Section 85, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, which provides that the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation shall audit accounts of all federal government agencies annually. Several agencies have been discovered to be flouting this constitutional provision by the National Assembly Committees on Public Accounts, a situation the committees described as unacceptable and a major obstacle in Nigeria's budget process.
How can you be doing business, collecting money? There's no audited report. From inception, that's the worst. From the time some of the agencies were established, they have not got the audited report.
We have a lot of agencies, over 300, that are yet to submit their reactions to Auditor General's queries for the years ending between 2010 to 2014.
But for those parastatals that are up to date, which are 21 in number, like the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Federal Medical Center Birnin Kebbi, and the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, the committees commended them.
Those who have submitted, yes, I will commend them for submitting. Those who have also appeared to defend their submissions, I will commend them, because we're talking about transparency. We're also talking about judicious use of public fund.
A public finance analyst and lecturer with the National Institute for Legislative Studies postgraduate program, Dr. Asimiu Abiola, profiles some solution to this teething problem.
The Auditor General in other democracies like in the US, UK, and some other places is an officer of the legislature. He works for the legislature. But in Nigeria, the Auditor General works with the legislature.
As the National Assembly commences the scrutiny and defense of the 2017 appropriation bill, accountability and transparency is key to both budget implementation and performance. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwa, NTA News.
And in a related development, the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NTA, has updated its website with a Freedom of Information FOI section. This is to check sharp practices and ensure accountability. Alain Kaujo has details.
The FOI section of the website is to enable Nigerians request for up-to-date information on its transparency activities in the Nigeria's extractive industries. Executive Secretary Nati Waziri Adio noted that the new website, a model after that of Bureau of Public Service Reforms, will provide an opportunity for the public to get responses to their request on time regardless their location.
The more eyes, that are focused on what is going on, the lesser, the chances of corruption, of conflict of interest, of mismanagement, and all of that.
Director General Bureau of Public Service Reforms, Dr. Joe Abba, said the FOI is also an important tool for checking sharp practices, promoting development, and restoring the rights and power of citizens to know. This, he added, will improve accountability in the management of Nigeria's oil and gas and solid minerals.
If we have that level of detail, then it actually enables people to get some of the answers to questions they may have in their minds.
Government MDAs were also encouraged to borrow a lead from NTA to opening up their activities for public scrutiny. In Abuja, Olain Kaujo, NTA News.
With normalcy gradually returning to the Borno State through the gallant efforts of the military, a mega rally for peace has been held, commending President Muhammadu Buhari's efforts in the fight against insurgency. Northeast Mega Rally Coordinator, commended Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, for professionalism displayed in managing and disseminating information without heating up the polity. The rally was also a wake-up call on the citizens for furnishing the military with useful information for total flush-out of insurgency and urging Boko Haram members to lay down their arms and embrace peace in order to achieve a greater Nigeria where peace will reign supreme and there will be infrastructural growth and development.
The war against Boko Haram is over. Boko Haram has been defeated. Boko Haram has been crushed. Believing in the fact that you have a role to play. You must take back your peace. You must take back your liberty from the hands of evildoers.
Corps Marshal of the Federal Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi, has challenged more state governments to establish their own road safety management agencies to enhance road safety culture, especially at the grassroots. The Corps Marshal made a call in Abuja at an interactive session with chief executive officers of state-owned mass transit companies. Victor Azo has details.
Lead agency in road safety in Nigeria, we are sure that the Federal Road Safety Corps will remain committed in supporting all initiatives aimed at enhancing efficiency, safety and security, as well as convenience of passengers.
The interactive session, the Corps Marshal says, was born out of the need to design an interface with major players in the transport industry and to afford stakeholders an avenue to discuss challenges facing the sector. Boboye Oyeyemi hinted that state government engagement in mass transit operation is preferred to private operators because they exercise greater control over personnel, vehicles in the fleet are better maintained and are more reliable. He told his guests that the implementation of the speed limiting device on commercial vehicles is without exception.
50% of our crashes was speed related, so we believe that with the installation of the speed limiting device in vehicles or the calibration for the heavy trucks, this will cut down the speed, and I'm happy about the response I've been getting from the multinationals and the organized transport sector.
The Corps Marshal challenged heads of state traffic regulatory agencies to ensure continuous training of their personnel, adding that the Corps will continue to assist with such training at the FRSC Academy in Udi, Enugu State.
The Organization of African First Ladies has risen from a special congress in Addis Ababa with far-reaching decisions in the fight against HIV/AIDS. Omnia then reports that the Congress enabled stock taking and cross-fertilization of ideas on the organization's core mandate.
Discussions at the Special Congress were centered around gender-based violence, early child marriage, and on the need to end harmful traditional birth practices in the African continent. Other thematic areas are teenage pregnancy, access to sexuality education, and the plight of teenage girls' child mothers. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Women Affairs in the Office of the Wife of the President said, OFLA in Nigeria is doing a lot for vulnerable women and girl child in Nigeria through the Future Child program of the Wife of the President, Aisha Buhari. Nigeria's presence at the Congress, she explained, has built capacity for better advocacy in Nigeria.
Our participation is very active here in the sense that all what Her Excellency is doing under her Future Assured program is also within the strategy of the OPLA in terms of sustaining the promotion of adolescent health and prevention of HIV/AIDS in Nigeria.
As you may be aware, the wife of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is advocating strongly for the improvement of health and well-being of women and children. And one of her priority intervention areas as far as her advocacy efforts is concerned is improving maternal newborn child health services.
At the Congress, presentations were made by the First Ladies of Rwanda, Zambia, and Sierra Leone. They appealed to international partners of the Organization of African First Ladies to sustain assistance to the group.
Most of us will need appointment with the President of a state. You don't need appointment. You can really convey what you feel important to make the nation better. And that's, I understood early that it was an important channel to use.
The Organization of African First Ladies, OFLA, was established in 2002 in Geneva, Switzerland, facilitated by UNAIDS and the International AIDS Trust. The AIDS response has fundamentally changed the outlook for people living with and affected by HIV/AIDS, especially for children. In Addis Ababa, Omini Udan, NTA News.
Let's join Muplan Dakok for reports on the economy as we bring you business news.
So glad you joined me on this segment. Nigeria's foreign exchange reserve has reached $27.4 billion at the end of January, recording an increase of 18.2% since its recent uptrend, which began October 2016. The latest figure released by the Central Bank of Nigeria is on 10 months high over the last 1 year, and there are indications that the increase would continue based on improved oil revenue. Nigeria's manufacturing activity measured through the Purchasing Managers Index, PMI, fell to 48.2 index points in January from 52.0 in December 2016. The report released by the Central Bank of Nigeria shows that while the manufacturing PMI dropped by 4.2 points, the non-manufacturing PMI stood at 49.4 points from 47.1 points, indicating a slower decline. On money matters, the dollar fell to a fresh low, extending losses against all of its G10 peers, dropping to its lowest since mid-November 2016. The decline may have been accelerated by month-end flows from portfolio rebalancing, and as President Trump claimed other countries devalue their currencies. The dollar has dropped almost 3% since the start of January, after gaining as much as 7.1% post-election. That's it on Business News. I am Moplang Dakok.
You're still watching the news on NTA International. We're reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. More news after the break. Thanks for joining us again. Thousands of exhibitors of small and light weapons from different parts of the world converged in Las Vegas Sands Expo Center for the 2017 SHOT Show. Joy Usiagu reports that a US-based Nigerian manufacturer, NTA Arms, was also at the show to launch the 9mm Arms carbine designed for the US markets and African nations.
Las Vegas Strip, Nevada was a beehive of activity as upbeat stakeholders in the firearm industry turned out for the 39th SHOT Show at the Sand Center. Buyers and sellers from different parts of the globe marveled and exuded extreme satisfaction with the new designs and capabilities of the firearms, ammunition, and accessories on display. NTA Arms, the latest entrant and a designer and manufacturer of small and light weapon systems for tactical military, special forces, law enforcement and commercial shooting hunting end users, attracted many customers as they unveiled the 9mm carbine manufactured in the United States for export and the U.S. market.
It's a short barrel. This particular rifle has a left-handed charging handle, and it uses Glock magazines.
Easy to use in order to avoid and not losing the target.
In collaboration with the Nigerian partners, NTA Arms is looking to provide quality performance state-of-the-art technology for Nigeria and other African military units.
This is a rifle that will be able to provide the Nigerian soldier the best accuracy and the best rigidity that will be able to perform in the field.
You don't want to hurt innocent civilians when you're working, or innocent members of the public. You don't want to endanger them when you're doing military work or law enforcement work.
Stakeholders from Nigeria were also at the SHOT Show to acquaint themselves with the latest brands of firearms in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joy Usiagu, NTA News.
Now, for developments around the globe, let's join Adebola Brooklyn Sunday with details.
The African Union has called